My name is Courtney Falls. I'm an English teacher here at Bethel Park High School, and I'm also the director of the 2013 Fall Play. Really, the play is the inverse. It is the opposite of Romeo and Juliet. You could say in Romeo and Juliet, everything that can go wrong, it does go wrong. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, it seems that everything that could go right, it does go right. One of my favorite things about this play, and this is part of why I'm so glad that it's part of my curriculum, is that it's a play that many people may not be familiar with, but it is a comedic play. It's a very fun play, and it has a lot to do with the problems that we go through in love. And so there's a number of different plot lines that are happening. We have our young lovers, who we have young Hermia, who she would love to be with Lysander, and Daddy says no, you must marry Demetrius. And then we have Hermia's best friend Helena, who was previously engaged to Demetrius, and now her fiance has dumped her to pursue her best friend. So we have some commotion there amongst the lovers. We have another plot where we have a group of common men who are putting on a play for the Duke's wedding. And so they're very earnest in all of their attempts. However, they don't realize that they're pretty terrible actors. And so there's lots of comedy as they try to put together a play that in essence is the prototype for Romeo and Juliet. And then we have another plot line with Oberon and Titania, and they are the king and queen of the fairies who are currently in the midst of a disagreement, and her husband decides he will play a trick on her in order to get his way. And what happens is these three plot lines essentially overlap one evening as they are all out in the forest. So lots of comedy, lots of love problems, and I think people can identify with some of them, that even as it can be a bit silly, we can still see what Shakespeare wrote over 400 years ago, that we can still find the humor and we can still find the essence of, oh, I've been through that before. I noticed that love problem, and that he's making jokes about some of the same things that we still poke fun at now, that are frequent misconceptions and problems that we have within love. This is my second year doing Fall Play. All of my other experience has just been in the realm of acting, and so this was definitely my first experience on the other side of it. It started last year during You Can't Take It With You. We'd be going through scenes, I'd be, and the tape in my mind never stops rolling. I'm at home, I'm doing other things, I'm thinking about Fall Play. And I would find myself turning over in my mind thinking about, well, wouldn't it be neat if we did this with A Midsummer? Or wouldn't this be a great scene to play out? And even as I was going through it in the year, because I do teach it in class, thinking about, wouldn't this be neat if we could enact it this way? Or, so it really started then, the seeds of it, even when I was in the midst of You Can't Take It With You, I was starting to think about, wouldn't it be fantastic to try and take on A Midsummer Night's Dream? I think that, well, you have to also look at directing from the actor's point of view and think about how you're giving them directions, how they're internalizing those directions, how they're thinking about their performances. But then also there's all of this outside aspect in terms of directing that you don't think about as much when you're the actor, that you're not thinking about the set, you're maybe not thinking about the blocking, the costuming, everything else that's really a part of putting the play together. I think the most challenging, I spent a lot of time this summer to cut the play. Because the length of the play, I had to cut it down, and there was a lot of consideration in terms of how to cut it so that it would keep the rhyme intact and it would help them to remember their lines. So there was that consideration. And then just thinking about blocking, trying to think about how you bring that forth through the characters' performances, how you place people, how maybe you think of something a little bit unique to do with a scene, because Shakespeare's been done for 400 years. Blocking is essentially all of the rehearsed and planned movement. And sometimes it changes because what looks great on a page when I'm at home in the summer, when you get a number of bodies up on the stage and it's more people than you might think. And to think about, oh, well, I had thought about putting this person here and that character there. And then when you see people in those roles, sometimes that changes the blocking as well. And sometimes to even think about what the actor or actress he or she is doing within the role, that you might reconsider maybe an action and say, well, why don't you try this? Or I'd like to see if you moved here, or if you stepped away at this point. So it certainly does. It's a very fluid process. Auditions were back in September. I was very fortunate. I had two ladies from my department, Leanne Toddy and Chelsea Finley, who were just phenomenally helpful during the auditioning process. So the three of us dealt with auditions this year, and we had 2 days of auditions. So the students came in, they chose a monologue. Each student chose his or her favorite monologue to read of the ones that I had given them. And then we started to think about what roles that, and a lot of it comes to how well that student can embody that role. So I'm sure a number of students walked in saying, hey, I'd really like to be this person. And some of them actually walked out realizing, oh, maybe I like this role better. So a lot of it comes to looking at the production as a whole and seeing which student is best going to embody that particular character, because you're not really looking at it just on an individual basis. You're looking at it as the entire unit, and how is that whole unit going to work together, and which place will each student work best. We had auditions on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. The cast was posted on Wednesday night. I did that through the wiki pages online, and then Thursday we had our first run through.
I'm Christopher Geikler. I'm in 12th grade, senior, and I'll be playing Theseus. He's the Duke of Athens, and Aegeus comes up to him one day and says he's got a problem with his daughter. She doesn't want to marry who he wants her to marry, and Theseus is just caught in the middle of this. He's obviously meant to uphold the law, but I guess he sort of knows that this isn't right. But his hand is forced at this point.
I'm Betty Hartman. I'm a senior, and I'm playing Hippolyta. Hippolyta is betrothed to another character, Theseus. She's the queen of the Amazons, which were warrior women, and she's just, she's kind of like stern and has power, which I think is fun.
My name is Joe Tischler. I am a senior, and I play the part of Aegeus. Aegeus is the standard, rough, tough, my way only dad. He wants his daughter Hermia to marry Demetrius out of the sole purpose that he wants her to marry her, and for no other reason. And he does not like the fact that Lysander has been courting Hermia without his permission. Therefore, he picks Demetrius over Hermia, whether Hermia likes it or not.
And what is mine my love shall render him, and she is mine. Therefore, I instate all my right of her unto Demetrius.
I'm Zach Fullerton, grade 10, and I'm playing Lysander. He's a guy who really likes this girl named Hermia, and then one day a magical fairy, Puck, puts juice on his eyes and makes him fall in love with another girl, Helena, and then everything just goes crazy from there, and then eventually he gets back with Hermia.
Gentle Hermia, may I marry thee? Into that place the sharp Athenian law cannot pursue us.
My name is Cody Shetter. I'm in 10th grade, and my character is Demetrius, a high-class lover who falls in love for Helena but changes his mind for Hermia.
Do I speak you fair? Or rather, do I not in the plainest truth tell you I do not know, I cannot love you?
For that, I do love you the more.
My name is Emmy McCoas. I'm in 11th grade, and I am playing Hermia. She and Lysander are in love, and Demetrius is in love with her. And her best friend, Helena, is in love with Demetrius. So it gets a little messy and complicated, and Hermia's a bit sassy.
The more I hate, the more he follows me. The more I love, the more he hateth me. His folly, Helena, is no fault of mine.
I'm Abby Martz. I'm in 11th grade, and I'm playing Helena. Helena's madly in love with Demetrius, and Demetrius is in love with her best friend, Hermia. And, of course, that doesn't exactly make me very happy, but the fairies try to interfere to get Demetrius to fall in love with Helena, but they accidentally put it on Lysander. So then Lysander, who loves Hermia and who Hermia loves, ends up falling in love with me.
How happy Aura their son can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she. What of that? Demetrius thinks not so.
I'm Cam Nickel. I'm in 10th grade and I'm Oberon. My character is the king of the fairies, and he's kind of cheating on his wife and plans to get revenge for her disloyalty. So I drop love juice into characters' eyes and kind of start off the whole conflict.
My Oberon, what visions have I seen? Methought I was enamored of an ass.
My name's Sayana Block. I am 17. I'm a senior, actually, and my part is Titania, the fairy queen. Titania, she's very, what Miss Falls tells me, but what I know from her is that she's very proper, she's very elegant, she's very, not uptight, but I want to say uptight, and she's kind of in this mood because she doesn't want to deal with her husband.
My name's Abby Beatty. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm playing the role as Puck. Puck he's a fairy and he's a servant to the king Oberon, so he's kind of like his main man. I play it as a boy, so that's different.
The king doth keep his revels here tonight. Take heed the queen come not within his sight, for Oberon is passing fell in wrath, because that she is her attendant path.
I'm Walter Donnellan. I'm a junior and I'm playing Nick Bottom the Weaver. He's like trying out with all these other guys to be in a play for the Duke. And through a series of unfortunate events, he gets a donkey head, and Fairy Queen falls in love with him, which isn't as unfortunate, but getting messed with by the fairies, and comes back and does the play, and it's kind of ridiculous.
O wicked wall through whom I see no bliss, cursed be thy stones for thus deceiving me.
I'm David Miller. I'm a senior, and I will be playing Peter Quince. My character is basically the leader of the mechanicals, the people that are putting on the performance for the Duke, Theseus.
I'm Ian Merkel. I'm in 9th grade, and my character is Francis Flute. Francis Flute is a member of the mechanical group who are putting on a play for Theseus on his wedding day. And my character plays a girl in the play.
Farewell, friends. Thus this ends. Adieu. Adieu. Adieu.
I'm Heather Walker. I'm in 9th grade, and I play Tom Snout, who also plays the wall. He is one of the mechanicals, which is this group that is performing a play for the Duke and Duchess, and he plays the wall in the play they do, and he gets very nervous whenever he performs.
My name's Ethan Tabler. I'm a freshman in 9th grade, and my character that I'm playing is Snug the Joiner. Snug the Joiner is kind of dumb, but he really wants to act, like he wants to be a part of it, but he isn't very skilled at it, so he's trying to work his way up to be the best of the best in the act.
I'm Rachel McLean. I'm in 9th grade, and my character is Robin Starveling. He's one of the mechanicals. He's in the performance that they do for the Duke on his wedding day, and he plays the moon. They're like the working men, and they decide they're going to do a play. They're not very smart, and they're not very great actors, but they sometimes like to think they are.
I'm Michaela Kohler. I'm in 10th grade, and I play Philostrate. She plays in the end, and she's basically the head servant for Hippolyta and Theseus, and she just goes around and does things for them, what servants do.
My name's Michaela Libel. I'm in 9th grade, and I play Peace Blossom. She's a fairy, and she is a servant for Titania, and basically she helps Bottom out whenever Titania falls in love with him. Yeah.
I'm Autumn Laird. I'm in 9th grade, and I play Cobweb. She's one of the fairies that waits on Titania and is ordered to do stuff for Bottom when she falls in love with him.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm in 10th grade, and I will be playing Moth. I am one of the 4 fairies the Fairy Queen tells to wait on Bottom. So throughout most of the play, I'm waiting on, it's kind of funny because he looks like a donkey, so I'm serving a donkey on his foot, everything he wants I'm supposed to do for him.
My name is Phoebe Nerum. I'm in 9th grade, and I play Mustard Seed. I serve Titania, the Fairy Queen, whenever she falls in love with Bottom, so I serve Bottom in her request.
I'm Alexandria Zallo. I'm a freshman and I play Fairy. She runs around like looking for things and like trying to solve things, and she's exhausted by the time she gets on stage, and she's complaining about how she had to do too much work.
My name is Brittany Catch. I'm in 10th grade, and my character is the first fairy. She's one of Queen Titania's fairy servants. She kind of casts a spell to shoo away bugs and evil spirits while Titania sleeps.
I'm Michaela Rubin. I'm a freshman and I play Fairy number 2. She's the same as Fairy number 1. She waits on Queen Titania, but she doesn't really do much. She pretty much just stands there. She's most like an attendant that is needed once in a while. I'm the one that tells them to leave when she falls asleep at the end.
My name is Sarah Kaufman. I'm in 9th grade and I play one of the fairy attendants. I stand with the changeling boy that the queen has taken to the fairy world.
I love watching them in rehearsals. That I like to see that they're enjoying it, because above all of this is about an experience for them, that I want them to walk away and say that they were so glad that they were part of a theater experience, and that hopefully whether they come back to fall play next year or whether it's in college that maybe they think about it again, or maybe they're out in their adult lives and they say, hey, I would like to do something with Heritage Players or with Little Lake or with South Park Theater, that it really is something that you can do throughout your life. And we're very lucky that we have a very active theater community here in the South Hills. We have a number of places and they're very talented as well. And so it's nice to have that reputation behind all of the availability of the opportunities.
I mean, it's a lot, and there's definitely some practices where like you want to go home and it's long, but like the cast is really great, and it's like a lot of fun, and in the end I think it's just going to be like it's worth it to put all the hours in.
It's a very big play in terms of it has lots of components that are involved, so a little bit bigger in terms of sets and scenery and a little more complicated than last year in terms of costuming and just in terms of the staging. It's been a little different.
I'm John Derby, and I'm a music teacher here, but I'm also the sponsor for the stage crew, and really my role is to kind of organize all of the students in the stage crew, kind of help with all of the behind the scenes work with getting them together and organized and running the show. I also have an assistant, Rob Gratton, who does more of the hands-on work with the building, but between the two of us, we kind of run this organization together to do all the technical aspects of the show, which is the set construction, the sound, the lighting design, and all of those aspects of the show. We do all of the sound design as far as the miking, who gets what microphone when they get it, and doing all of that design, plus sound effects. And the lighting, our students do all of the lighting design, as well as, the directors, Miss False in this case, would pretty much give a general idea of what she wants, and then the students kind of make it happen. On top of this, I mean, we have responsibilities throughout the year of doing any really show or event that comes into the auditorium. We kind of take care of all the technical details for all of those. The students run everything. There are adults that guide what they should be doing, show them technique, show them what to do. But when it comes especially to the show night, the students do everything. They run the soundboard, the lighting. The adults actually just sit back and watch. And as far as the construction goes, the adults are the ones who kind of design it, but they give the designs to the students, and they make it happen. As you can see behind me, they're working right now. For this play, there's one main set that will stay stationary the entire time. Then there's a few smaller pieces that will move on and off, like some trees and some forest scenery that can move and shift positions. But the general set for this one is stationary.
My name is Amelia Hastings. I'm in 10th grade, and I'm the student director. The student director helps the director. I make sure that all the actors are visible from different angles in the theater, and I help actors to rehearse their lines and memorize their lines. And I'm also helping with costumes and making sure that everyone's costume fits and looks right. It's not the same as being on the stage, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and it's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it, and it's really exciting to see how the show's coming together.
I'm Samantha Glickel. I'm a senior here in Bethel Park High School. I am the stage manager. I start from the beginning, from the first flat that is built. I am here helping and maintaining it all, and from all the cues that are said by the director, Miss False, like that's written down by me, and I have it, and I tell everyone what to do. I rely on my staff more, because they know what they've been doing. I mean, I've never been a grip, so all the grips that are helping this year are helping the younger ones. I see them throughout the school day, and I let them know what's happening.
I'm Claire Pike. I'm a senior. I'm the assistant stage manager. Well, the stage manager is in charge of everything, making sure everybody's doing their job and, cueing everything for the show. And anything she can't handle, I do. I'm kind of hoping to kind of build up to stage manager for a later show, so this is a good place to start. If you're in high school, you should join. It's a lot of fun. You make good friends.
Logan Tewitt. I'm a senior. I am the lighting designer and master electrician in headlights. That means that I coordinate with the director and whatever they want lighting-wise to happen on stage, how they want it to look. I figure out how I can do it and then pass it along to the master electrician, which is also me. So I then go up and I have to figure out what lights I want to use, where I can put them, how to angle them, how to focus them. And then I have to wire them so that we can go into the board and we can patch it all in together and we can program so that, when I need this light to turn on, it'll turn on. Then we can program cues, everything's easy. And then I'm also in charge of if something breaks, I have to fix it. I'm sure the play is going to turn out fine. With what she's been talking to me, or what she's been talking about with me so far, it's going to be really cool.
I'm Christian Hokai. I am a senior. I am co-head lights along with Logan, and I am the lightboard operator. So that means I program the lightboard before the show, and I run the lightboard during the show, which is timing all of the cues that we programmed in and Logan had set up. So all the lighting changes that happen on the stage during the time, I'm the one that actually controls them. I was also lightboard operator for 42nd Street, which was just an amazing experience.
My name's Lauren Weaver. I'm a senior. I'm actually head sound this year. Basically, just the sound director. I run the board and anything that needs to go along with that. The mics. We do have mic techs that take care of the portable mics that go on them, and it's pretty important. I mean, if you can't hear what they're saying, you can't follow the plot. So it's just as important as lights too, because you can't see what they're doing, you can't follow the plot. All the people that are in charge of we'll call it a department, I guess, like lights and sound or whatnot, they all have scripts. The assistants have scripts too, so everyone's pretty much involved with every aspect of it.
My name is Regina Smith, senior at Bethel Park High School. I'm in art club and I'm also master of props. I've been in stage crew for about 3 years now. I do a lot of the set work and set painting and set design. Master props means that I just basically take care of everything that goes under props. Like Miss False will say, we need this on stage for this scene, and I'll make sure it's taken out by a grip and that everything's taken care of. We're currently in the process of building a lot of trees for the forest and the things that need to go on in the rest of the play. It's not as prop heavy as it was last year when we did You Can't Take It With You, because it was more like a home environment. So a lot of it is painting, a lot of stage work, a lot of flats, a lot of just technical things. If you're looking at this and you're watching this and you're thinking about joining crew, do it. Have no regrets. It's my last year and I know you can't wait. You can't wait.
They will be building our sets. They will be doing all of the lighting, all of the sound, any of the technical cues, and there's things that are encompassed. People don't even realize that you need this prop to come off the set, you need this prop to appear, and so there are certain students that are just in charge of just that, making sure people have their props, making sure that things are in the right places on stage, and it's so important because if actors go out and things aren't in the right places, it's a problem. I have a few students from last year that were in the play, so they've had some experience, which is nice. They've read the play before, and that was also part of when I thought about the choice of the play. I frequently have students who read it and they talk about how much they liked it, and it surprises them. So I find that that's a nice little hook for them to try something different.
I like the rhyme of it. It just flows well and it makes sense to me. I mean, it's so beautifully worded.
You have to look at it and then it has a deeper meaning to it. So you'll be staring at it, and then when you finally understand it, you're like, wow, and then you feel like you learned something.
I think it just kind of flows. Like the emotions, it's so well thought out. You know what your motive is. You know where to go.
It's easier to act out. It's easier to convey the feelings. Like when Shakespeare wants you to do something, you do it, and it's pretty straightforward.
Our culture puts Shakespeare up on a pedestal, and sometimes that pedestal is so high that the distance that has been created in our minds makes it seem like Shakespeare is inaccessible or unattainable. And when they work with the lines and they find the meaning in the lines and they're saying the lines for themselves as actors, they realize it's not such a great distance. And that's a great discovery for students.
Really, Shakespeare wrote for the people, and that's something most English teachers, we love to tell everyone. And it's true. And so once students start to get familiar with the texts, they feel very confident as well because they feel that, oh, this is Shakespeare, and I'm able to read this and understand this, and I'm able to perform it. So I like giving them that confidence as well.
Well, the students definitely have a wonderful director in Courtney Falls. This is a play that she's taught for many years in the classroom and has a lot of experience with Shakespeare and with this play in particular. And so I'm sure it's going to be a great performance.
I like to see that they're enjoying it because above all of this is about an experience for them, that I want them to walk away and say that they were so glad that they were part of a theater experience. It's a long journey for everyone who's involved. And when it's over, hopefully there's always that sense of relief that you've made it, but also there is that sense of, wow, this really was great.
With a production such as Fall Play, there are so many people to thank for all of their support and their continued assistance. First, I do have to thank Mr. Andy Amrine and Dave Cable for all of their time and effort putting together a fantastic production that really looks at the involvement of students, faculty, and community in order to put together such a production. Among the growing list of other people that I need to thank, first I do need to thank the cast and my student director, Miss Amelia Hastings, all of the members of stage crew who have tirelessly made us look fantastic, and I'm so proud of all of the students who are involved. Additionally, I have to thank Mr. Derby and Mr. Grattan, who are in charge of stage crew, Mr. Todd Kozawa, who helped us with many of the musical elements. We're lucky this year to have a wonderful group of string students who I'm so glad to have. Additionally, we have Mr. Wells and the woodworking classes who created our trees, Mrs. Kristen Palumbo and the art club who helped to create many of the props and aspects of our sets. We've had fantastic support from many community businesses, such as EV Hardware, for many donations from them. Tuxedo Junction also provided us with many donations, and additionally Anthropology also gave us donations to our set as well. So thank you to all of the businesses who consistently support student efforts in this community. Along with the administration, Dr. Dan Sani, Mrs. Rose, and the entire administrative team, I do need to thank my department head, Mr. Charles Youngs, for all of his assistance and support in our theatrical endeavors here at Bethel Park High School. Of course, Mrs. Vicky Flada, who is a fantastic PR woman and who always has the best faces of Bethel Park out there for us. Additionally, I would like to thank Mrs. Hastings, who just did a fantastic job as a costuming consultant and did all of the phenomenal seamstress work on our costumes this year. I'm so thankful to have you. We also had the help of Mrs. Jennifer Ferris and Miss Taylor Parker, who also made our students look lovely in terms of their makeup and their hair this year. Finally, I would like to thank my parents, Dr. William False and Mrs. Judy False, who have taught me the importance of investing in a community and helping students to reach their potential. So I thank them greatly for the lessons that they've instilled with me and that I hope to continue forward in this community. And last but not least, Midsummer Night's Dream will take place on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, November 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Bethel Park High School Auditorium at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $5 and they are available at the door. We hope to see you there.